You ever wonder why she pulls away just when you start getting close? You do everything right. You're kind, respectful, you touch her gently, and yet she doesn't respond the way you hoped. You're not alone. Every man has felt that sting, that confusion, that moment where you ask yourself, what did I do wrong? Now listen carefully. It's not about what you did, it's where you did it. By the end of this video, you're going to learn the 4 places you can touch a woman that completely bypass her logical mind and go straight to her emotional core. Places that make her lean in, not pull away. But this isn't about manipulation or cheap tricks. It's about presence, precision, power. Because the truth is, most men go for obvious, generic gestures. The handhold, the shoulder touch, a back rub. They're trying to be romantic, but it comes off awkward, predictable. She doesn't feel seduced. She feels nothing. Why? Because there's no depth behind the action, no masculine intention, no emotional command. A man without direction is like a ship lost at sea, and that's how most men behave around women. They hope the wind will carry them somewhere, but it doesn't. Here's the bold truth. Touch isn't about technique, it's about timing, energy, and emotional leadership. A woman responds not just to your hands, but to your state. Your touch must speak dominance without force, desire without desperation, presence without anxiety. Let me paint a scenario. You're sitting next to her. She's talking, laughing, comfortable. You lean in. Gently place your fingers right behind her elbow, just under the arm. That soft skin most men ignore. You say nothing, just a firm, still moment of touch. Her breath catches, her body tenses, just slightly. In her mind? What was that? Why did that feel different? She doesn't know why, but you do. It wasn't just a touch, it was an anchor. A signal that you're not just any man, you're tuned in, you're grounded, and that makes her feel safe and wanted at the same time. This is where Stoicism enters. Control over impulse, power in restraint. You don't touch out of need, you touch with purpose. Like a king commanding his presence, not a boy begging for attention. You're not chasing validation, you're giving direction. And that's just the beginning. Now, here's where most men fall off. They think touching a woman is about escalation. If I touch here, she'll let me touch there. That's weak. That's needy. That's not how masculine energy works. Women feel energy before logic. She senses everything. The second your touch is driven by desire to get something, she pulls away. But when it comes from a grounded place, when it's calm and intentional, she melts into it. The second place? The small of her back. Not the obvious lower back grab that screams sleazy nightclub pickup. No, I'm talking about that slow, confident touch as you guide her through a door, through a crowd, across the street. Your hand lands lightly yet firmly, right at the center, just for a second. That 1 second tells her everything. You're with a man who leads. And in her mind, she's thinking, why does this feel so safe, so masculine? Because in that moment, you aren't touching to possess her, you're touching to direct her, to protect her. And biologically, that signals strength. Leadership. It taps into something ancient, primal. Imagine this. You're walking together. A group of people crosses your path. Without saying a word, you place your hand on her lower back and guide her gently to your side. You stay calm, unbothered, in control. She feels it. You didn't ask. You didn't hesitate. You just moved her. Not forcefully, not aggressively, but with command. That's the difference between being attractive and being unforgettable. Here's the in. A dialogue most guys never hear. His touch feels different. I trust it. I don't know why. I just do. Why does that happen? Because deep down, she wants a man who doesn't seek permission to lead. Not because he's arrogant, but because he's sure of himself. And that's Stoicism in motion. You're not ruled by outcome. You're not reacting to her body or her emotions. You act from principle, from strength, from clarity. She can feel the difference. Most men try to impress women. Few lead them. Your touch is no longer just physical, it's psychological. It plants thoughts, it shapes the mood, it tells a silent story. You're safe, you're desired, you're mine for this moment. Now listen closely, because this one, most men never think of it. The third place where your touch hits differently is her wrist. Yeah, her wrist, not her waist, not her thigh, her wrist. Why? Because it's subtle, exposed, vulnerable, and when you touch it, gently, slowly, with stillness, you bypass lust and strike straight into her emotional nervous system. This isn't a grab, it's not playful, it's not teasing, it's presence in pure form, a moment of complete masculine stillness. Imagine this. You're sitting across from her at a cafe. The conversation's flowing. There's laughter, eye contact, comfort. Then you reach out. You take her wrist in your hand, just your fingertips resting on her pulse. You hold it. Not tight, not too long, just enough. She stops mid-sentence. Her eyes drop. Her breathing shifts. Her mind starts racing. Why does that feel so intimate? Why is my heart beating faster? She doesn't understand it. But you do. You're not grabbing. You're claiming a moment. Not her body, her attention, her awareness. And that is rare. Because think about it. Who touches a woman's wrist with care, with intent, with no agenda? Almost no one. That's what makes it powerful. It's quiet dominance. The kind that doesn't need to be loud, it doesn't seek approval, it creates emotional contrast. And in a world of loud, clumsy, ego-driven men, that contrast makes you unforgettable. This is where Stoic masculinity truly shines. You're not trying to impress her. You're grounded in yourself. You understand the body is a gateway, but the mind is the battlefield. And when you touch her wrist with that silent strength, you show her something she rarely experiences, masculine restraint fused with presence. That's where desire grows, in the space between control and curiosity. Now imagine what's happening in her mind. Why is this touch stuck in my head? Why does it feel more intimate than anything physical I've done with other men? Because you weren't chasing, you weren't pushing, you were leading with emotional control. A Stoic man doesn't need to speak loudly or act fast. He influences by being unmoved, and that's magnetic. The wrist is your silent weapon. Use it sparingly. Use it only when you're fully present. She'll remember that moment long after the night ends. Now, the final place. The one that ignites something deeper. Not lust, not infatuation, but emotional attachment. Let's finish strong. Here's the final one. The touch that doesn't just turn her on. It makes her feel seen, chosen, and emotionally tethered to your presence. It's not her lips, not her neck. It's her face. Specifically, the side of her jaw and the back of her neck. Now hold on, because if you don't do this right, it falls flat. Or worse, it feels invasive. But when done with grounded masculine presence, it's spellbinding. Here's how it works. She's close to you. The mood is soft. Maybe you're laughing, teasing. Then, in a quiet pause, you reach out, one hand on the side of her face, fingers brushing just behind her ear, down to the back of her neck, your thumb resting near her jaw. You don't rush, you don't speak. Just silence, just commanding energy. Her body locks up, but not out of fear, out of emotional overload. Because in that moment she's thinking, he's not just touching me. He's holding me still. He sees me. This touch tells her, I'm present, I'm grounded. I choose you, not for what you can give me, but because I'm in full control of myself, and I allow you to feel that power. No grabbing, no pulling, just anchoring her in the now. It's dominance wrapped in care, power laced with patience. And that, brother, is the paradox that draws her in. She's not craving a man who rushes. She's craving a man who's so emotionally in control, he slows down when everyone else speeds up. That's Stoicism. Logic over impulse, strength through stillness, attraction through restraint. You don't touch her face because it's time to kiss. You touch it to show her. You could, but you don't have to. That's what she remembers. That moment when you had the power, and you didn't use it for yourself. You used it to make her feel safe, seen, desired. And that, my friend, is unforgettable. So don't just remember these 4 places. Live the principle behind them. Touch with intention, move with discipline, speak through energy. Because true masculine attraction doesn't come from chasing. It comes from commanding the moment with presence. As Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Be unlike the other men. Lead, restrain, master the art of touch, and she'll feel the difference deep in her soul.